y'all, it's Ashley Bookishrealm and I'm back with another video. So I am here to talk a little bit about two books which I had not even really thought about these books in terms of like doing any type of review or anything, kind of a little bit with one of them. But when I read the second one in my recent reads video, I was like, I think I have a little bit of a video idea kind of brewing in my head, and I thought I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna film this and we're just gonna work it out while I'm on camera and kind of do a little bit of a discussion somewhat, I guess. So the two books in question, as you can see properly from the thumbnail, is After by Anna Todd, and then also Zodiac Academy, and the authors of Zodiac Academy are slipping my mind, so excuse me while I go. It's Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti? Yes, Suzanne Valenti and Caroline Peckham. So I have read After twice, believe it or not. I actually have read the entire After series. I decided to read The Awakening because I saw that Izzy from Happy for Now, I saw it on her Instagram stories, and I had messaged her and I was like, so is this even worth reading? And she was explaining to me like, you know, just don't go into it basically with high expectations. And then Bethany came out with a reading vlog talking about it, and so I kind of got two very interesting perspectives on the book, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna see what it's all about. So in reading these two books, because I've read After, my second read of it, I've read it recently, I always wonder like, what is it about these books that are appealing? And it's interesting because with the After series, like I gave the first book 2 stars, and I still was interested in seeing how the story was going to play out. Same thing with the Zodiac Academy. I gave this first book, I believe, either 2 or 2.5 stars, and I'm still going to continue the series because I'm very interested in seeing how all of this is going to play out. And you're probably like, Ashley, but why, when these initial books are not that good? And it made me think about the larger grand scheme of things is, how do people love these books? Why do people love these books? And when clearly a lot of aspects of them, and this is in my personal opinion, I don't think are that amazing. And one of the things that I have had to ask myself is, why do you want to continue a series of books where you did not like the first book, and the writing is not that great, the character development is not that great, the plot development is not that great? And with After, it was like that for, I mean, I read one of the After books that was over 800 pages and still ended up giving it like 2.5 stars. And it's like, why indulge in something that's not that great? And the one word that I could think of when it comes to books like this is like the drama. It is literally watching like disaster unfold. It's like watching a train wreck and not being able to look away. It's indulging in something that you know is no good, that it's really just, you could be doing other things with your time, but you're so invested in knowing like, this is just, oh my goodness, I have to know what's coming next. And so I can't really speak for anybody else's experience with my own. And I know, like I said, it's like, why do people like these books? And I went through, believe it or not, and I actually read people's reviews, like 4 or 5 star ratings of both Zodiac Academy and of After. And a lot of it really dealt with, I think, just seeing the angst and the drama between characters. There were a couple people who were very, very interested in like the world building, which I think for me is, the world building is not spectacular in Zodiac Academy, but the concept of it is interesting enough where I'm like, you know, maybe. But for me, solely speaking for myself, it literally was the drama of it all. And having something that's completely like mindless to read, knowing that at the end of the day, it is not the world's best literature, and some people really, really enjoy that. I also think that there are a couple of factors that go into, and this can't be said of any book, not just these two books, but I think that what can go into people's enjoyment of book a lot of times is experience, wit, part of your life are you in? Like, you know, have you seen relationships like this and you're like, this is not attractive, this is extremely toxic, like this is not romantic at all? Or, you know, have you not had those experiences, or have you not like been 100% aware like this is not a desirable trait that maybe you want in a mate or a partner? Like, this is not what we should be looking for. I think a lot of times too, people are like, I'm going in with low expectations. A lot of times I think when you go into books like this with low expectations, they're not as bad as you probably would think, because you expect nothing out of them already. So when I went into Zodiac Academy, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I went to Zodiac Academy, I really just I didn't have any expectations. I was like, one, this is a recommendation from TikTok, so I'm definitely going to take that with a grain of salt. No shade to TikTok, but low-key shade to TikTok. Because sometimes some recommendations that come out of TikTok, I'm like, but why? And so knowing that it was getting a lot of traction on TikTok, and a lot of people that I trust were like, but it's a no for me, I was like, I'm not going to have any expectations. I don't expect great writing. I don't expect great world building. I know the romance, because it's a bully romance, 9 times out of 10 it's probably going to be stupid toxic. So I think when I went into it and having those low expectations, it really was not like, I finished the book, y'all, in probably like 36 hours. It's over 400 pages. And it was like eating popcorn. Like, I just kept going page after page. I'm like, I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. And I messaged Izzy and I was like, you know, I'm probably going to continue the series. And even in my review, I was like, you know, this wasn't great, but I'm probably going to continue the series. And it is that dramatic appeal. It's the same thing, I think, when you watch reality TV. Like, it's not good. It's really not good. It's horrible in a lot of different ways. I watch a lot of reality TV. When I do watch TV, a lot of it ends up being reality TV. So it's no surprise that the chaos that is in reality TV, that I know is not great, that is just very harmful, a lot of toxic relationships, I eat it up, because it's just drama. And I think it translates well when we get books like After, and we get books like Zodiac Academy that like are not really great pieces of literature, but the drama factor is there. And I apologize because I didn't really tell you much about like what these books are about. So After has been out for a while now, and After has been made into an entire movie franchise. It is literally about a couple, Tessa and Hardin. Tessa comes from a very sheltered background. She goes to college. She comes to college with a boyfriend, and she basically is, you know, getting a chance to be away from her mother, and she ends up meeting this guy named Hardin through her roommate, and Hardin is, you know, the bad boy. And I think that, you know, there is some appeal there sometimes, I think, in adolescence of the bad, you know, it doesn't even have to say bad boy, but like that person who doesn't have like the best qualities. There's that attraction, that appeal of something new, something dangerous, something that you've never experienced, especially when you're coming from a more sheltered background. So Tessa is like moth to a flame in that entire book, and the relationship is extremely toxic. It is a constant back and forth, like, I hate you but I love you, I hate you but I love you. And Hardin is awful to Tessa. Like, he's a complete jerk. He is not kind to her, and the big reveal in that one is just a horrible situation, and in a lot of ways unforgivable. But what was so interesting about my read of that entire series is that all of that to me definitely came full circle by the end of the book, where I actually ended up, I think, giving the last book 3 stars, because I said, this is where we needed to be. This is the conversation that they needed to have, because the relationship was so toxic. And I was wondering if Anna Todd was ever going to get to that point, and that for me was a curiosity. But it was the drama. It was the ups and downs of watching this horrible relationship, and going in and knowing that it wasn't going to be great made me lower my expectations to the point where it was not like it wasn't a terrible reading experience, which I know is probably contradictory. It's probably weird for me to say that. It's probably like, Ashley, I don't understand how something like that can't be an awful reading experience, but my inhibitions were not there because I knew I was getting myself into a situation where the writing was not going to be amazing, the character development was going to be amazing, and I knew that the relationship was toxic. It was a lot of bullying that went on, but at the end of the day, it was like, I'm curious on how this is going to play out, and is Anna Todd's whole message behind this, are we, showcasing and basically elevating a toxic relationship here? Are we trying to illustrate that these are appropriate, things to happen in a relationship? But I'm not saying that that was her purpose, and I'm not saying that if you read a romance book where the relationship is toxic, that's someone trying to say that this is the way that a relationship should work out. I don't. I think, a lot of it is fantasy, and it doesn't mean that these are the clear guidelines of how a relationship is supposed to operate. Is it influential? I can't say. I'm not here to say like, oh yeah, I've run this data and I know that it's going to influence people to be in toxic relationships. I don't know, because this is targeted at an older audience. I think sometimes I'm a little bit more weary when it comes to like middle grade and YA, because I do think that is an influential audience. But then I know that there are some teens who are probably reading the After series, so there's much to be said about that. But I will say that I do feel like that series does end up inevitably coming full circle. So with the other one, Zodiac Academy, what ends up happening in that one, it is a fantasy romance series, and it is more targeted. It's more like a new adult, not what I'm typically used to reading anymore in terms of my romance books. I actually have not read a whole lot of fantasy romance. It is about a set of twins who live in the human world. They end up finding out that they are actually fae, and they go to this academy where they are supposed to become rulers of this whole entire land area, whatever. But there are four guys who technically are supposed to inherit that power as well, because their parents have split the power of that kingdom into four parts, because the twins, their parents have passed away. And so it causes this whole upheaval and mess and drama because of the fact that they have come back, and now it's like, well, who is supposed to get the throne? So it's a lot of mass confusion and a lot of thoughts and feelings and anger about them being back and being human and not knowing really anything about the Fae world. And they're going to this boarding school and learning about their elemental magic and how the zodiac signs play a role and how they work at this school and what their powers will be, etc., etc. And this is a bully romance, so our male leads bully the shit out of them. Like, they're horrible. I mean horrible. And yet for some reason there is still sexual tension between the twins and these guys, and you're like, but why? Like, he's awful to you. He's awful to you. And there are things that are done in the end of this book that I feel like are so completely unforgivable. Like, I don't know how any of these four guys have any redeeming qualities, because if they weren't active players in it, they were passive bystanders who allowed these things to happen. So it's just kind of one of those things where you're like, there's nothing redeemable about these characters, but I will pick up book 2 because of the fact that the drama, it's like, yo, this is awful. Like, they're awful to each other. They are horrible, but I want to read because I want these girls to kick their ass in the next book. I'm not expecting good writing. I'm not expecting great plot development. I am not going to particularly like the romance, but I need to see these girls go to work on them. And it's amazing to feel that way about a book, knowing that it probably is not going to be better. But what's interesting about this is I'm wondering if it's going to have the same effect or appeal as After did, where it was like this continuous thing where I'm like, this isn't good. And then we finally get to the place where I'm like, you're kind of bringing it to a place where I need it to be. And I'm wondering if Zodiac Academy is going to be like that, where a lot of people say it progresses into a better series. So for me, I think there's got to be some type of drama appeal that makes people so invested and so interested in reading these books when they're I say there's nothing that they offer, because there are people who really just enjoy them and love them, and it's one of those things where you're like, but why? But then I kind of get it. I don't think that they're well-written books. I don't think that they're great, but I do think that the angst and the drama and the cliffhangers of it all, it appeals to people. And I think a lot of times too, when you, like I said, kind of reiterating, your life experiences, I think, play a huge role in dictating like how you view books in general. And I think that it plays a big role sometimes in how people perceive certain elements in romance books, and that you just, when you've been through some things, you've seen certain things, you just don't see the appeal in that type of relationship, especially with Zodiac Academy being like a bully romance. Like, I can see why a lot of people are like, that's just like, yo, like, how are we okay with these girls who are basically essentially getting harassed and assaulted in a lot of ways? And I say in a lot of ways because it's in more ways than one, getting assaulted. Like, how do we find that attractive and romantic? And I don't think, from the reviews that I had read, I don't think it's that people find that stuff alluring or attractive, but I think that it's just the chaos, the reality TV show feel that a lot of this stuff has to it. And I don't know what that says about us as a society. I don't know what that says about us as readers, but I think that it just was a question that really popped into my head, where I was like, yo, like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, these are not good, but I'm gonna continue to read it too. And like I said that in my review. I was like, yo, like, this is not good, but am I gonna continue the rest of the series? Probably. And I don't know what that says about me at all, except like, Ashley, are you wasting your time? And it's like, no, because honestly, there is a part of me that's curious. Do I co-sign it? Do I believe that it's something that should be done? Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But it's just kind of like, yo, so where do we go from here? Like, this relationship is awful. Where do we go from here? It's like watching a dating reality TV show and you're like, yo, this is toxic. These people are toxic. It's like watching Love is Blind season 2. And nobody had any redeeming qualities in season 2. Everybody was toxic in season 2. It's like watching that and you're like, man, like, this is so bad, to the point that I just can't look away, that it makes it good. And I can't get enough. And I know that I cannot root for any of these people. Nobody has any redeeming qualities, yet I will continue to watch the show because I have to know what happens next. So I think it's that kind of appeal, and I'm not here to judge anybody that has given these books 4 or 5 stars. I think that they're worthy of 4 or 5 stars in terms of review quality. If we're talking about writing, plot, character development, world building for Zodiac Academy making sense, like, absolutely not. I don't think that they are worthy of 4 or 5 star. But that's my opinion. That's how I view it. Do I think that this is something that I would pick up and be like, I just need to get away from everything and just read just something that I could just easily and quickly consume? Like, these books were it. And I am, like I said, I'm very curious on how I'm going to feel about Zodiac Academy at the end of it, because by the time that I did get to the end of reading all of the after books, she got to a point where I was like, okay, all right, I see. Did we have to go through all that? Probably not. But did your fans enjoy? Absolutely. But you didn't have to go through all of that to get to that ending part of it. So I am very interested in hearing y'all's thoughts. Like, this is just my opinion. Like, I mean, I could be completely off base. You could be like, Ashley, no. I don't understand why people like these books, and there's nothing redeeming. There's no justification. There's no answer. I can understand that too. But I really would just love to hear, like, do you think that there is a drama appeal to it? Like, is it kind of like our consumption of reality TV, where we know it's no good and everything that we see here that is portrayed as toxic, but we just can't look away because the dramatic appeal is there to a certain level? Like, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments, because I'm trying to figure this one out. And I gotta figure this one out, because clearly I read the entire After series, so it was something there, and I'm interested in finishing the whole Zodiac Academy series, so there's something there as well. But let me know in the comment box below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and as always, I'll be back with another video soon.